For the better part of 2013, the Cardinals have had the upper hand against Dusty Baker's Cincinnati Reds. But in their last meeting, 10-0 Redlegs. The long ball from Jay Bruce, who knocked in 5 in the pitching of Homer Bailey. Today, their final series of the season begins, and it's next on Fox Sports Ohio. It is a beautiful Labor Day Monday in downtown Cincinnati, and a big crowd rolling into Great American Ballpark. The first of 4 as the Reds kick off a 10-game homestand against the St. Louis Cardinals. Reds had a chance to gain a game in the standings yesterday, but of course lost in Colorado. So the Cardinals and the Pirates tied atop the division with the Reds 3.5 back, 25 to go. And hi again, everybody. Alongside Chris Welsh, I'm Tom Brenneman. Happy Labor Day, everybody, and welcome to Reds Baseball. The days are precious and few now, Chris, if the Reds have sights of repeating as National League Central Division champions.
Well, they've got their task right ahead of them, Tom. And with the Cardinals in town for the next 4 games, the Reds can look in the mirror and decide for themselves how they want to go about this 4-game series and whether they want to make a difference in the standings. It'll go along with the pitching probables here. Wainwright and Latos, this may just be, if you've got a 1-game wild card play-in, this could be the matchup that you see on that 1 game. Michael Walker will pitch against Harto and Homer Bailey tomorrow. Miller and Arroyo, and then Lance Lynn on a to be announced later on by the Reds in this final game of the series, a day game on Thursday. Matt Latos has pitched pretty well this year overall against the Cardinals. His last time out, not all that great, but he's the one guy in the starting rotation that has held his own against Mike Matheny's ball club. He throws very hard. He's got pinpoint control with that fastball. He's going to need all of his pitches today to get the Reds off to a good start.
Surprisingly enough, it is the Cardinals ace, Adam Wainwright, where the Reds have fared pretty well against this guy.
It seems like Adam Wainwright beats everybody else in the league except the Reds. In fact, the Reds beat him up big time in his last start. It was the worst outing of his career for Wainwright. You see the 2 innings pitched, 8 hits, 9 earned runs overall. The Reds got a combination of a lot of hanging breaking balls that they were able to negotiate and some pretty good luck by balls falling in there. You don't expect that kind of game again today with 2 top pitchers on the mound. This ought to be a real good one from a pitching standpoint.
Money's on the table starting today for the Reds. Jay Bruce has brought his A game against this Cardinal team. We'll talk more about that when we return.
Cincinnati Reds. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
It's hot, but the sun is shining, and it's time for today's weather, brought to you by Tri-State Orthopedics. Here's Scott Dimick from the WKRC Weather Department.
Hello, everyone. I'm meteorologist Scott Dimick. The Cardinals take on the Reds. The Reds need a win. It's going to be humid at first pitch for the 7th inning stretch and for the final out. Can't rule out some spotty showers for the second half of the game. We'll start around 80 degrees, finish in the mid-80s. Enjoy the game on Fox Sports Ohio.
Well, like the weather, Jay Bruce red hot against his Cardinal team and against his Cardinal starter, Adam Wainwright.
Well, you're not kidding about that. Look at the numbers for him against Adam Wainwright. 9 for 26, a couple of home runs, and you're going to need that out of Jay Bruce. This is a ball game. I mean, I don't expect either of these pitchers to really scuffle today, although you don't know. It could be decided by the home run ball. Give the Reds the edge in that department, and let's hope that Bruce is able to center one or two against Wainwright.
A big one, a big one, a big one. We've been saying that seemingly every single day. Less than a month ago in his 2013 season. Reds and the Cardinals next. By the Ford F-Series truck's a best-selling truck in America, 36 straight years. By Cincinnati USA Regional Tourism Network. Book your stay at CincinnatiUSA.com. And by Skyline Chili. Feeling good. It's Skyline time. Reds have taken the field on this beautiful Monday afternoon, and a happy Labor Day to all. Cardinals come rolling into town, tied atop the National League Central. Their lineup has Matt Carpenter, John Jay, Matt Holliday bats third and left. Alan Craig in right field. Yadier Molina did not catch, you may remember, the game that Adam Wainwright was kicked around in 2 innings the last start against the Reds in St. Louis. And there today, Matt Adams at first. And a ladder third to David Freese, Daniel Descalso, and Wainwright on the mound. Matt Latos gunning for win number 14, faces the Cardinals for the second straight start as well.
You know, I really believe that Matt Latos has grown into the point where he really relishes a game like this. He knows the importance of this ball game based on the fact that the Reds lost both series they played on that two-city road trip, most recently in Colorado. He knows that he's a stopper right now, the absence of Johnny Cueto in the rotation, and he wants that weight on his shoulders. And I expect Matt Latos to go out there and pitch like he has pretty much all year long. 13-5 record, a good earned run average, and The home road split's especially impressive right here because when you have this kind of number at Great American Ballpark, a 2.9 earned run average in a ballpark where the ball really flies, you're doing something. And for Matt Latos, that's keeping the ball down.
Reds have lost 10 of the 15 they have played against St. Louis this year. 3-8 in their last 11, and going all the way back to that 3-game sweep over the Cardinals to begin the second half of last year. They have lost their last 7 series to the Redbirds, so perhaps hoping to exact some revenge in this 4-game set, which begins right now. Latos winds and delivers, and it's ball 1 to Matt Carpenter, and we're underway. Carpenter having a dynamite year, .312 batter, 10 home runs, 66 batted in, has 44 doubles on the season. Popped up, shallow left center field. Chu and Ludwig converge, and it's Chu to make the play, 1 out. Good start for Latos and the Reds. Their defense presented by Ford. Chu flanked by Ludwig and Bruce in the outfield. Frazier, Cozart, Phillips, and Votto third to first, and Mesoraco hanging the signs for Matt Latos. Very short night for the Reds. They got in very late after a long game last night in Denver. It was a very early night for the Cardinals. They salvaged a win in that 3-game weekend series yesterday against the Pirates, losing the first 2 games of that series, but a short trip in from Pittsburgh. Nothing at 2 on John Jay, the Cardinals center fielder. Mark Wegner calling the balls and strikes today. Corey Blazer, the umpire, at first. Tim Timmons at second, and Laz Diaz down at third. Just underway, and glad to have you with us for the first of 4. And this also begins a 10-game homestand for the Reds. And boy, it doesn't get any easier after the Cardinals leave. The red-hot Dodgers come to town, sporting the second-best record in the National League. They'll be in town Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then a 3-game series against the Cubs beginning 1 week from today. 2-2.
Well, one thing you notice early on about Matt Latos, he's one right-handed pitcher who just is not timid at all about pitching inside to left-handers. And that's been the key to him pitching so well in this ballpark. If you don't claim the inside part of the plate, left-handed hitters are going to reach out over the plate, feel very comfortable, and they're going to own you here. And he's not afraid. He's been pounding that inside part of the zone all at bat here against John Jay. Tries to drop a little curveball in there right there. Did not work. Now we've got the pleasure today of having Phantom Cam with us. That's a super slow-mo brought to you by Fox Sports. And you can just see the tilt that he has right here. That's where he generates a lot of the fastball and the power as he gets going towards home plate.
Jay gone, swinging, 2 out.
Well, you see where they're trying to pitch John Jay up and in the entire at bat, and then finally down, and he gets that pitch, and John Jay will chase that slider. That slider that Latos drops on the back foot of a left-handed hitter, that'll be, along with that inside fastball, 2 key pitches for him.
It's astounding how well Latos, after leaving the most pitcher-friendly ballpark in baseball, where he used to call home, as there's a base hit into center field by Holiday, who has a 2-out single. Many wondered after leaving Petco Park how well Latos would fare at hitter-friendly Great American Ballpark. Well, of all the pitchers ever, Reds pitchers, visiting pitchers that have made 10 or more starts at Great American Ballpark in their careers, Latos has the lowest career ERA of all of them. Exactly 3.00 his ERA at Great American Ballpark.
I think because Latos has the kind of attitude, you see him on the mound, you see the tattoos, you see sometimes somewhat of of an immature reaction to adversity. At least it was worse than that in San Diego than it's ever been here. That you don't give the guy credit for being such a hard worker and the competitor that he really is. I mean, this guy studies his craft. He works with Brian Price tirelessly. Mac Jenkins has really helped as far as pitch selection and how to kind of massage his repertoire to make it fit this ballpark. He's done a great job doing it.
1-0 to Alan Craig. 1 on, 2 out.
Well, the Reds saw firsthand the damage that Alan Craig could do to you. Of course, he hit an opposite field grand slam to win the ball game for the Cardinals with an exclamation point in that last series in St. Louis. He's got a short, compact swing, and he'll actually hit a lot of pitches that are on the middle to inner third of the plate the other way.
That last fastball, Latos came way in, got a called strike. We've not seen a lot of Reds pitchers pitch Alan Craig that way. Hard in. Runner goes. And a roller to short. Cozart will play to first. Good start for Matt Latos. Reds are coming up against Adam Wainwright. Scoreless game in Cincinnati. Reads as follows. It'll be Chu to lead off, followed by Brandon Phillips and Joey Votto. Middle third of Jay Bruce, former Cardinal Ryan Ludwig and Devin Mesoraco, Frazier, Cozart, and Latos, the latter third. Even with his terrible start, the worst of his major league career against these Reds his last time out, Adam Wainwright among the top pitchers in all of Major League Baseball.
I mean, how many pitchers do you know that can give up 9 earned runs in 2 innings and still have an earned run average under 3? I mean, that's how good Adam Wainwright has been this year. And in fact, in a year without Clayton Kershaw, Wainwright would be the conversation of the Cy Young Award, even with that bad outing against the Reds.
His ERA went up almost a half a run. Almost. The last start, he went into it at 2.58. Begins play today at 2.96. But you see his career numbers against the Reds. They've been very good against him. We'll see if that continues here today with Molina behind the plate. Breaking ball in there to Shin-Soo Choo, a strike. Choo at 284, 18 home runs, 44 runs batted in. He fouled that ball off his leg or his foot. See where he got it. Right on a shin.
Shinberger. Yeah, I think for a while Choo was wearing one of those protective patches on his lower leg, and then as that bruise gets better, you take it off, and sure enough, as soon as you take that baby off, there goes, you get a ball right on the spot.
Chu behind 0-2. And in the air, out of play off to the third base side.
Normally what Wainwright likes to do is to get ahead of hitters with the harder stuff. He's kind of cashed in his slider for a cutter from last year to this year. So his hard breaking ball is a little bit harder than it was last year, but he still has that big curveball. And there it is. And it's somewhat of a backwards way to pitch, because a lot of pitchers are taught to go slow stuff early and then hard stuff. You see the curveball right there. He actually takes his index finger completely off the top of the baseball when he throws that. Some pitchers kind of spike it. He takes it off completely.
Brandon to follow, then Joey Votto here in the Reds' opening inning. Chu has been red hot again. He's gone through peaks and valleys for extended periods of time this year. Right now, over the last 2.5 weeks, a .354 batter, and you see a 5-game hitting streak, 10 hits in his last 22 at bats. 2-2 on Chu. Full count.
Boy, he's working it, doesn't he?
Trying to get aboard leading off the bottom of the first inning, and waited too long on Molina and Wainwright to agree on the pitch selection.
And here we are. This is the bottom of the first inning, and you've got guys stepping out. This is how big this ball game is to each of these teams.
What an at bat by Chu, capped off by a base hit by a diving David Freese.
You know, I don't know if there's a hitter in the league that has impressed me this year that keeps it as simple as Shin-Soo Choo. I mean, he fouls them off, he takes the marginal pitches for balls, and then a little slap to left field to get himself going here in the first inning.
Now Brandon Phillips at .270, 17 home runs, and even 99 runs batted in. And pushes a bunt to the right side, which will advance a runner on to first. Got to believe he's doing that on his own. Dusty Baker kind of looking out there at Phillips, who makes a U-turn back to the bag, credited with a sacrifice. 1 out of the inning.
I think that's a good play. I know a lot of people, especially the sabermetric people, say, well, why would you ever bunt, especially when you're as hot as Brandon Phillips? But on the mound today, the Cardinals have one of the more prolific ground ball pitchers in baseball. He's thrown 28 ground ball double plays, and Brandon has grounded into a bunch of them himself. So, you know, get an early run on the board. And you have a chance to do that with a runner in scoring position and your number 3 hitter up.
On the ground down to the first baseman, and that's a second out of the inning, with Chu advancing on to third base. So we'll see exactly how much Jay Bruce gets to hit in this at bat with a runner at third, 2 outs in the inning. You have Ryan Ludwig due up next, and we showed you the numbers for Bruce against Wainwright and against the Cardinals this year. In the game where Wainwright only lasted 2 innings, he faced Jay Bruce 2 times. He gave up a 2-run single and a 3-run homer. 3-0 on Jay Bruce, setting up way outside and nowhere near the strike zone. They had no intention of giving him the chance to hurt him. So now that'll rest on the shoulders of Ryan Ludwig to get the Reds on the board. We take a look at St. Louis defensively. Holiday, Jay, and Craig left, center, and right. They give the big fella Matt Adams to start at first base. No Carlos Beltran. And Molina, as we mentioned, is behind the plate for Wainwright's start today. Ludwig playing in his 19th game. 18th since being activated off the disabled list after he was injured on opening day. Foul ball. Ryan, a pair of home runs, 6 runs batted in. He had an RBI double in that 6-run first inning against Adam Wainwright last Wednesday night. And this one is dropped into center field. A 2-out RBI base hit by Ludwig. Scores Q, and the Reds on the board at 1-0.
Oh. Ryan Ludwig is getting more and more comfortable as the more at-bats he gets. That's a curveball that just drops right down and inside, and he doesn't try to kill it. He just puts a fat part of the bat on the ball and finds a spot in the center field. Huge 2-out run batted in right there. This game and this series just might be all about momentum, and of course momentum in baseball has a lot to do with pitching. But if you've got your number one guy on the mound and you start scoring early on, it can really build your confidence.
Strike one on the catcher, Devin Mesoraco, a .249 batter, 8 home runs, 37 runs batted in.
Moved up in the order a couple of spots, hitting the ball better, seeing it much better. What I've noticed that teams have done recently against Devin Mesoraco is throw him a whole lot more breaking balls. I mean, there was a time that they would just pound fastballs in, breaking balls away, but now they're pitching Mesoraco much more carefully. And with 0-2 count, you're got to figure he's going to see that big hook.
And there's that breaking ball, and that's the inning. But the Reds get on the board. They lead at the end of 1-0. Signs a big contract extension. Good news for the Bengals. Teddy Bridgewater shines in his season debut, and Hal McCoy, the Hall of Famer, is available for a live chat right now It's all at foxsportsohio.com. Cardinals coming to bat against Matt Latos, top of the second inning, and the Reds with a 1-0 lead thanks to a 2-out run-scoring single by Ryan Ludwig. It'll be Yadier Molina, Matt Adams, and David Freese here against Matt Latos in the Cardinals' second inning. Matt Holliday had a 1-out single, 2-out single, I beg your pardon, in the first inning, but no damage done. Molina 329, 10 home runs, 61 runs batted in. Cardinals have won 10 out of 14 since Molina came back off the disabled list on the 14th of August. Frazier to the glove side. 1 out. Cardinals minor league player of the year last season, Matt Adams, a batter. In limited playing time, 9 home runs, 36 runs batted in. This guy's put up a couple of monster seasons in the Cardinals minor league system, where he's knocked in well over 100 runs. 0-2 here. We were talking last week how Latos does not have good career numbers against, or Latos does. Beltran does not against Matt Latos, and he wasn't in the lineup when Latos was on the mound in St. Louis last week, nor is he in there again today. And Adams gone swinging.
Yeah, Matt Latos showing the Cardinals that Adam Wainwright not the only big right-hander with an overhand curveball. The slider is the breaking ball of choice for Latos, but occasionally he'll drop in a curveball that'll be in the high 70s miles per hour wise. You see, you get it right there, and then you hammer it down like a hammer driving in a nail, and right over the top, Latos throws that curve and gets a strikeout.
David Freese comes in really struggling right now over the last, well, nearly a month.
You know, getting back to Beltran, Tom, Beltran left the game for the Cardinals the other day with a bad back, and he nursed it yesterday. They thought that he would be all right for this series, but I guess given the fact that he, you know, those numbers lifetime against Latos, plus the fact that his back probably still acting up, they're going to give him an extra day at least.
Full badly Freeze there, and it's 2-2. They appeal and no, says Corey Blazer down at first base. The entire Reds defense had made 3 steps towards the first base side dugout.
Wow. That's a gimme. Or better said, maybe a mulligan for David Freese.
And he ends up drawing a walk. Well, it's hard to believe the first base umpire misses that call.
That's one of those calls, Tom, that is completely a judgment call. There's no Fox tracks to check it. There's no convening of all the umpires together, even if they do have an agreement where they're going to improve the number of plays that are going to be under review. I doubt that that'll be one of them, because that first base umpire is the only guy really in the best position to see it. What he sees and says goes.
So the inning continues for the shortstop Daniel Descalzo. And he loops one into short left field, and Ludwig makes a diving play, and that'll end the inning. Good jump on that ball by Ludwig. A man left. 1-0 Reds after an inning and a half. Of our Miller Time moment brought to you by Miller Lite. And if a Red hits a home run off that Toyota sign today out in right center field, Joanne Sebastian of Villa Hills, Kentucky would win the new Tundra. And you can register for your chance to win in an upcoming game. You better get in soon. Just stop by your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealer. Reds 1, Cardinals 0 in the first of a 4-game series between these two rivals at Great American Ballpark this week. Latter third in the batting order against Adam Wainwright. Frazier, Cozart, and Latos scheduled to bat. Boy, Todd had a pitch to hit right there. Fastball right down the can and fouls it away. That ball driven hard into right center field, and this one will find the gap. Bounces over the wall. Ground rule double for Todd Frazier to begin the Reds' second inning.
You got to figure that Todd Frazier, when he's down the count, is going to be looking on the outer part of the plate. That's where pitchers have been going to get him, and he gets a real pitcher's pitch right there. That ball is just about at the very bottom of the strike zone, if not below. And he drives it hard. I tell you, when that guy puts the sweet part of the bat on the ball, I mean, he doesn't have to swing hard. It just goes a long way.
Now Zach Cozart, 51 runs batted in on the season, and this one into shallow center, a base hit. They are going to wave the runner around. Here comes a throw. It's cut off. Frazier and Cozart back-to-back hits, and the Reds with a 2-0 lead. Hey, Cozart's been clutch here of late. When you put runners out there in scoring position, he's getting some big base hits.
When you're getting production out of the bottom part of your lineup, it gives you a whole different look to the balance of your offense. And his job is, of course, is to get the ball to the right side. He not only does that, but he scores the runner. He puts himself on first base. And the Reds are doing a lot what they did the last time against Adam Wainwright, which is be really aggressive early in the count. They had a lot of first pitch hits when they got 9 runs off of Wainwright the last time around.
Latos executes the punt beautifully. Wainwright thought about it and takes the out. To finish that thought on Cozart very quickly, I mean, here's a guy that, for a lot of this year, he has come out and said, I expected better, I should be better. But he's not hanging his head. Over the last 3 weeks, Cozart has been a .372 hitter.
And the last 3 weeks, he's been down low in the order, kind of under the radar. When you're batting in the top 3 or 4 in the lineup, the pitcher is really bearing down on you. A lot of people think, hey, well, batting in front of Joey Votto in the second spot, you should get a lot of fastballs. But you know what? You're really bearing down on even more because that pitcher wants to make sure nobody's on base when Joey Votto comes up.
In the air, right center field off the bat of Chu. Goodbye. And the Reds are landing on Wainwright for a second straight start.
Big as Shin-Soo Choo been this year for the Reds. Leads the game off with a base hit, comes around to score, drives in a couple with this blast on the second pitch of the at-bat. Man, I want that on my wall. What a great look that is. I mean, wouldn't you like to have your bedroom as a kid? Say you're 12 years old, you're growing up in Cincinnati. Wouldn't you love to have that on your wall?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the whole wall.
Of course.
That is nice. Every time you flip the switch on in your room to turn the light on, that goes into motion right there. That swing in slow motion. Man.
4-0 Reds. Only one out, still batting in the second inning, and it's 0-2 on Brandon Phillips.
Well, you got to figure by now Wainwright has to be a little bit gun shy. I mean, 9 runs in 2 innings the last time he saw the Reds. Here they are on the bottom of the second, not even out of the second inning yet, and he's given up 4.
On the ground it is Calzo, and Phillips retired, 2 are out. Joey Votto bounced out to Matt Adams his first time up. Two and two. Fought that one off third base side and out of play. It remains 2 balls, 2 strikes to Joey Votto, part of a 3-run second inning. It began with a double by Frazier, scoring on a hit by Cozart after a bunt. A 2-run home run by Shin-Soo Choo. The Reds, after getting that 2-out run scoring single by Ludwig in the first, with a 4-0 advantage. Fastball right down the can, and that's the inning. The Reds get 3 and lead at the end of 2, 4-0. Serious injuries. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. Brandon Phillips, 1 run batted in away from joining the Hall of Famer Joe Morgan as the only Cincinnati Reds second baseman to knock in 100 or more runs in a season. Will he get it today? Of course, this weekend's going to be a huge weekend for Joe Morgan, honoring him and every member of the Great 8. That ball hit a ton by Adam Wainwright, and it's up against the wall, and Wainwright will come standing up with a double on an 0-1 pitch to begin the Cardinal third inning. Wainwright nearly leaving the yard.
You know, based on the cheer that we heard here at the ballpark after Wainwright nearly goes yard right here, right center field, there are a fair amount of Cardinal fans here today. Hard to distinguish in the stands, of course. We got all red seats at Great American Ballpark. Reds fans wearing red, Cardinals fans wearing red. What a great week for baseball coming up. Big crowd here, too.
Plenty of tickets, we understand, are available for each of the next 3 nights in this series, all of them 7:10 start times. And right on through the weekend with the Dodgers in town. Of course, they're going to have, as I was starting to say, the entire Great 8. From the teams of the mid-1970s, the Big Red Machine, back-to-back World Series championship teams, including Pete Rose. Commissioner Bud Selig undoubtedly had to okay the Reds having Pete Rose on the field for this weekend, so certainly thanks are in order to the commissioner for allowing that to happen. It's very important to the Reds, and even more important to Joe Morgan, who is very, very close with Bud Selig. And I would imagine their friendship had something to do with getting the okay for Pete Rose to be on the field this weekend. I mean, I'm straight guessing on that, but there is no doubt he had to approve it for it to happen.
I think it's a good move, because if they did not allow Pete Rose, it would become a story unto itself. And why have that kind of distraction on a weekend that is meant to honor Joe Morgan?
2-1 to Carpenter. 3-1 to Carpenter. Well, here's where Latos reads to really bear down. You allow a double, an unexpected double by the opposing pitcher to begin the inning. And now you're rolling back up to the top of the order. An order which is among the most, if not the most, potent in the entire National League. 3-2 on Carpenter. That ball is blistered into right field, and that will go to the wall. Back-to-back doubles to begin the Cardinals' third inning, and they're on the board. It's a 4-1 game. Talked about Carpenter, what a year he is having. He is having a spectacular season for the Cardinals. 45th double.
Well, he definitely makes the all-world no-glove team when it comes to hitting. He does not wear batting gloves, and he doesn't really care. This guy just gives you a really tough at bat. He reminds me a lot of the way that Shin-Soo Choo approaches his at bat. Simple swing, takes a lot of pitches, works walks, good in the clutch.
Bunted by Jay, that'll advance Carpenter on to second base, third base, I beg your pardon. One out in the inning.
That might be an odd play. I mean, if you're sitting around, you're really looking inside the numbers, and John Jay has had a really good run against Matt Latos. Comes into this ball game with a batting average over 400 against Latos. But this is where Mike Matheny's thinking, you know what, we desperately need to get another run on the board right here. We can't afford to have 2 outs made and not get this run in. So he's going to get the runner over to third. The easiest thing now for Matt Holliday just to hit a fly ball, or a ground ball to short or third, or short or second, because the infield essentially given the run up.
Boy, just shoot him up with a fastball in right there.
You know what you have today with these two pitchers? Latos is 6'6". Wainwright is 6'7". It's hard for big, tall guys to get their control, repeat their delivery. But you're looking at two pitchers who are very tall that have pinpoint control with their fastball. That's a rarity.
That's a tough pitch for Holliday to be able to foul off, but that's what he does to keep this at bat alive. Fly ball left field. And the runner tagging and coming in to score easily. Sac fly RBI by Holliday, and a 4-0 lead is cut in half in this Cardinal third.
We bill this as a great pitching matchup between two of the #1 pitchers on either ball club, and you already have now 6 runs on the board. We're not even through the third inning. You just never know.
Well, just like the way this inning began, you never expect the pitcher to come up there in an 0-1 count leading off an inning and nearly leave the ballpark. That's what happened. And before you know it, 2 runs are on the board. Here's Alan Craig.
Getting the ammonia towel. You know, maybe Polly ought to do that to you after you get done cutting the grass.
Good idea.
Now, that's a great feel. You fill a bucket of water with some water and ice, put a couple of drops of ammonia in there, you know, special kind of ammonia. And then you dip that towel in there.
Special kind of ammonia?
Well, I don't know if it's the kind you use as a cleaner or not, but
Well, I think that'd be a good thing to know.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Let me know how it goes.
That doesn't sound too good.
If you're not here tomorrow, I'll know you got the wrong kind.
I mean, having my head covered in something that you generally use to clean doesn't sound real good.
Might do something to that hair.
Yeah, it might. Maybe turn it back to brown again. Well, that ball is smoked. Line drive right at the center fielder, Chu, and that'll end the inning. We got to look into that. One of my partners giving out bad advice. In 5 years as your #1 mobile app for live baseball. You can text 31826 or visit Reds.com for more details. 4 runs, 5 hits, 2 men left for the Reds. 2 runs, 3 hits, 2 left for St. Louis. Reds come to bat against Adam Wainwright, Jay Bruce, Ryan Ludwig, Devin Mesoraco in the 3rd inning.
We talked about the curveball from Adam Wainwright and also from Matt Latos. Here's the super slow-mo of both of these guys, and you see the high arm angle of both of them. Even Matt Latos, maybe even a little bit higher than Wainwright. But the pressure finger is that middle finger. The index finger is off the baseball, tight spin, over-the-top delivery, and it gives you kind of a 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock break. And you're looking at 2 of the better curveballs. Wainwright may be the best in baseball, or at least one of the best in this league.
Jay Bruce finally sees a strike, and he doesn't even waste any time with it. He did not get one his first time up. 1-0 in this at bat, and a double into left center field to begin the 3rd inning.
That pitch down. Bruce just going the other way. Good firm front side by Jay Bruce right there. He keeps his head behind the baseball. I'm going to run out of walls. All these good phantom cam shots we're going to put up there.
Jay Bruce, the leader in extra base hits among all National League players. That one high and tight to Ryan Ludwig. Of course, Ludwig and Wainwright, former teammates together.
Friends no more.
That one fouled back out of play. Ludwig an RBI single with 2 outs, getting the Reds on the board in the first inning. And by the way, before we go any further on this hot day, kids are out playing, and maybe mom is listening to Chris Welsh talking about a little bit of ammonia.
Ammonia water. And I knew this, but I didn't know where you buy it at the pharmacy, not at the cleaning aisle in the grocery store.
All right.
It's special aromatic ammonia. You just put a couple of drops in. It's not the stuff you clean your sink with or anything else. So don't mistake those two. I'm not giving advice to anybody except Polly to take care of you after you cut the grass.
So she should disregard our clarification on that.
Well, yeah, I'll send her over a bottle of the right stuff.
Right. I'm sure of that. This is not going to advance a runner, not going to score him either. Bruce will stay put. 1 out in the inning. Devin Mesoraco struck out swinging, saw 3 straight breaking balls his first time up, and that one hard in, swung on and missed. That one skips by Freese into left field. Well, the former World Series hero of the Cardinals of 2011 is having a rough 2013. At the plate, in the field, and again with good health.
Well, a breaking ball, another one. Mesoraco is going to see a steady diet of those. And he just backs up, hoping that he gets a high hop. He gets the high hop, but it goes underneath his glove.
Scored a base hit for Mesoraco, and now Frazier, who doubled into left center field leading off the second inning and later scored. Bats with a runner at third, a runner at first, and 1 out. Two balls and no strikes. Breaking ball hung right there, and Frazier fouls it off to the first base side out of play. 2-1. Jay Bruce at third, Devin Mesoraco at first, 1 out, 2-1 to Frazier, and that one lined into left field into the corner. That'll score Jay Bruce. Mesoraco slams on the brakes at second. A 2-hit day for Frazier, and the Reds get one of the runs back and lead 5-2.
Dusty Baker seems to have the Midas touch when it comes to playing that third baseman the last few ball games. Gave Frazier the day off yesterday. Jack Hanahan came in and had a couple of hits. He puts Frazier back in the lineup against Wainwright today. A couple of hits, already a run scored for Frazier. Making the right calls.
Zach Cozart, a run-scoring single to right center field, part of the 3-run second inning.
Well, timeout call now. Todd Frazier steps off first base. Whether he's feeling lightheaded or what out there, but kind of took his helmet off, and maybe he could use a little ammonia water.
Make sure you get him the right kind.
Well, what the Reds are giving Wainwright is a baseball version of ammonia water, waking him up right now.
1-1 to Zach. 3 hits in the inning, producing 1 run so far and looking for more. Slow roller to the right side. They get 1, not hit hard enough to double up Cozart. 2 out. And Mesoraco on to third. So now it's up to the pitcher, Matt Latos, who put down a sacrifice which led to one of the runs in that third inning. Go back with runners at first and third and 2 out. So here are the Reds in 4 2/3 innings against Adam Wainwright in back-to-back starts. They have 16 hits and 14 runs against Wainwright. That's astounding.
Other teams will be standing in line to find out the secret, because he is as good as they come when he doesn't pitch against the Reds.
It's not an exaggeration. I mean, you can go back and add up all the number of runs allowed by Wainwright, and you pick the point in time you want to do it. And you can add up 5, 6, 7 starts in a row and have a hard time finding where he's allowed a total of 14 runs in that number of starts. Pirates and the Milwaukee Brewers will getting started in just a couple of minutes from now. A game in Milwaukee. Cardinals are in the middle of a stretch where they play 13 games in a row against the Reds of Pirates. Reds, Pirates. 4 straight series. They beat the Reds 2 out of 3 in St. Louis. Lost 2 out of 3 in Pittsburgh in game 1 of this set today. Inning over. 1 in the first, 3 in the second, 1 more in the third. We move to the 4th. Reds in front 5-2. And honoring Joe Morgan at Great American Ballpark. Friday night, stick around for the post-game fireworks show. They'll have that Big Red Machine 70s soundtrack thanks to Courson Fire and Security. It's going to be a great weekend. Tickets are available. 381-REDS. Visit select Kroger locations or log on to Reds.com/tickets. Reds 5, Cardinals 2 at the end of 3 in the opener of this 4-game series. Joe Morgan weekend. The Great 8 will be here on Saturday. They unveil the statue that will be erected outside of Great American Ballpark. Of course, the entire summer they've had the Joe Morgan exhibit over at the Reds Hall of Fame and Museum, which continues. So you'll certainly want to be here for that. Boy, Joe is so excited about this weekend when we saw him a couple of weeks ago. Yadier Molina to be followed by Matt Adams and then David Freese here in the Cardinals' 4th inning. They scored their 2 runs against Latos in the 3rd. 2-0 on Molina, who grounded out to the third baseman Frazier his first time up. Bright sunny day, little on the humid side here on this Monday. That one's in the air in right field and playable for Jay Bruce. Molina retired for the 2nd time. Now we understand all of this humidity in the air is scheduled to blow out of here tonight. The high temperature for tomorrow is going to be 78 degrees.
What about tomorrow evening?
Perfect. Into the 50s.
Nice.
So tickets are available. In fact, the next 3 days of this series, the expected highs are not more than 82, 84 degrees, right in that neighborhood. So we'll look forward to having you down the ballpark.
If you want to see pennant baseball with a playoff atmosphere, this is the week.
Out on a play by Adams. 1 ball and 1 strike. Adams struck out his first time up. Three and 1 now on Adams, the first baseman. Talked about Adams when we were in St. Louis last week. Young man grew up in Pennsylvania. And just looking for a place to play regularly on this very talented Cardinal team. Broken bat rolling. Brandon to the outfield grass, and they're 2 out.
Now, we showed you the behind the pitcher look of the curveballs between Latos and Wainwright, and here's a side-by-side look. The only difference here, you see how much higher Adam Wainwright has his head, and pulling off the ball just a little bit is Matt Latos right there, but very high arm angle for both of these guys, and that's why they get a lot of swings and misses with that pitch. And that's a curveball for both of them to come right over the top.
Broken bat rolling. Frazier in front of Kozar, inning over. 1, 2, 3 for the first time today by either starter. By Toyota. Visit your Toyota dealer or visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And by JTM Food Group, creating great dishes together. Along the banks of the Ohio, coming off the biggest weekend of the year in downtown Cincinnati, where hundreds of thousands flood the riverbanks on both sides, Ohio and Kentucky, for the Cincinnati Bell WEBN fireworks show. Spectacular fireworks put on by the folks over at Rossi, locally based company, and boy, what an event that has become through the years. And on the very next day, the Reds off to a good start against Adam Wainwright, leading 5-2 as they bat in the bottom of the fourth inning. Now, you know what they did with those towels in my days living in Arizona, and you've been out there, where they put them in something, some kind, it's not a fruit juice, but it's something that smells like some kind of a fruit, like peach or something like that. And I don't know if that's a similar kind of thing to what you're talking about, that maybe just has a different scent to it. As Chu pulls one to the right side. First time Wainwright has retired him today.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm not sure if is it aloe vera or something
that
like that.
Might be it.
Yeah.
And that sounds a lot more appealing to the head, the scalp, your skin than ammonia.
Well, I think ammonia might do you some good, though.
It might. You're right. On multiple levels.
But now you don't get it until you cut the grass, so we may have a long wait for that.
Got to do that tomorrow.
You wait until it's 78 out. That's smart.
Veteran move.
I'm learning a lot from you.
Veteran move. Brandon Phillips, 0 for 1, has put down a sacrifice and bounced out to short. Ball 1 away. Phillips chasing that pitch down and away from him. 2 balls and a strike. Routine ground ball down to Freeze. And the first 2 retired by Wainwright here in the bottom of the 4th. Let's take a peek at our AT&T trivia question on this Monday, Labor Day. Who was the last Red to win the National League's Player of the Month in September? Give you a little while to think about that. Latos, the first pitcher today in any half inning to retire the side in order, and now Adam Wainwright is a strike away from doing that himself for the first time after retiring Chu and Phillips to begin the inning ahead of Joey Votto. who is 0 for 2. No balls and 2 strikes. That ball in the air to deep left center field. And that ball is gone into the first row of the stands by Votto. And the Reds extend their lead at 6-2.
Hitting the ball the other way with power is something Joey Votto has always been able to do, especially when the pitcher elevates the ball for him. But he hit a ball like this yesterday at Coors Field. Normally a place where the ball really travels, and it was caught at the wall. Votto was very upset. I don't know whether he was upset with the fact he didn't get a home run or didn't hit it well or what, but that ball right there, he stays on it, drives it the other way, and that's the Joey Votto we're used to seeing.
That ball hammered into right field off the bat of Jay Bruce, so the beat goes on for him against Wainwright and these Cardinals. Jay has been on base 3 times, a walk and 2 doubles.
Now the first pitch, breaking ball, and I'll tell you, Wainwright just hanging him up there. He did that in his start against the Reds in St. Louis, and every time he does, it seems like there's a center of the bat waiting for him. 38 doubles for Bruce.
Today, history for Adam Wainwright, and not the good kind. This is only the 2nd time in his major league career where he has given up 6 or more runs in back-to-back starts. Ironically, it happened against the Chicago Cubs back in 2007. I say ironically because he made consecutive starts against that same team, like he is against the Reds here today. Ludwig pops up to end the inning. They got 9 against him last time, 6 so far this time.
...2013. Jim Day with you, just beside the Reds dugout. And September call-ups, it's that time of year, and the big story, would Billy Hamilton come up to the big leagues? The answer indeed is yes. He is here today in a Major League uniform for the first time in a regular season game. He is our subject of our IGS Bringing the Energy feature. At Louisville, 256, 6 home runs, 28 extra base hits, 41 runs driven in, 75 stolen bases that led the International League, and in 5 minor league seasons, an incredible 395 stolen bases. He will wear number 6 while he's here. Now his role, not really sure. Dusty Baker kind of him-hawed around it. Not sure he's going to get many starts with the Reds chasing a division title, but on the base pass, he will be lethal. As we go upstairs, Tom and Chris, guys, he was asked before the game, you know, most guys dream of their first major league hit. He was asked if he was looking more forward to his first major league hit or his first major league steal, and he said, by far, my first major league steal. Interesting.
Can't wait to see him get a chance to run the bases here in a big league game. And everybody's so excited to see him. He got off to such a terrible start, as you mentioned, Jim, and then really finished strong. I think that that had to be a big lift for that young man, Chris. First full year at AAA, playing a new position. A lot of things clearly, you know, on his plate, and all the pub he received, especially during this offseason, not only here locally, but I mean all over the country, those that cover baseball and talk about baseball, write about baseball.
Well, I think it also gives the organization a big sigh of relief to know that their top prospect is now excelling at the highest minor league level. I mean, if he went to AAA and completely flopped, and you have your current center fielder, Chu, a free agent after this season, and you still don't know what they're going to do there. But I mean, at least you have the indication of that you've got somebody coming along. Your top prospect is coming along as planned.
8-9-1 in the Cardinal batting order against Latos here in the top half of the 5th. By the way, Pedro Villarreal was designated for assignment, cleared waivers, so he was outrighted to Louisville to make room on the 40-man roster for Billy Hamilton. Adam Wainwright is standing in the on-deck circle. A few bodies walking around, stretching out of the Cardinal bullpen, but it does not appear as though anyone has started to get loose yet. That is a fair ball. And Mesoraco did not do the umpiring behind the plate. He went and got it. Snatched it up before it trickled back with a little backspin on it into foul ground and tagged out Descalzo. Good play.
Now, you don't see all that many 2 unassisted fielding plays, but that's what you get right here with Devin Mesoraco. Ball, if it hits the plate, it's fair, and it stays in fair territory right here. Even if that ball rolled in foul territory and then came back fair, it's a fair ball. Mesoraco taking no chances, hopping on that baby before it has a chance to get into foul territory. You know, that's the one spot on the diamond where there's no foul line that indicates whether the ball is on the line or on the other side of the line or so on. It has to be a judgment call. It's kind of an imaginary line coming from the back point of home plate right to where the foul line begins. But that still is fair territory. What I'm really talking about is this area kind of right here down the third base line and same way on the first base line.
Broken bat roller to Cozart. He'll get rid of it in time to throw out Wainwright, who doubled and scored back in the 3rd inning. And Latos, after giving up a double to the man who comes up now, which was Carpenter, who had an RBI double in the 3rd, has retired 8 in a row.
Hey, you know, Jim Kelch not on the radio today, not on television today. You wonder what he's doing. Well, before the game, they had the mascots play a baseball game, and our own Jim Kelch, there he is, the Frisch's big boy.
Of course, he is the spokesperson, primary spokesperson for the great Cincinnati-based company here, Frisch's.
And, you know, he's practicing his swing. He's shown some interest in coming down to the Reds fantasy camp, and I'll tell you, the big boy's got a little swing on him there.
He does, even in that getup.
And I'm wondering if part of the condition of having him in camp for fantasy camp is him wearing the big boy getup. Well,
a tee is too high.
little work to do.
A tee is too high.
Yeah.
It's not in his wheelhouse.
He'll get it. Some guys get it quicker than others.
Well, it's nice to have Jim down at the ballpark today. We look forward to seeing him over the weekend. He'll be back behind the mic. But he'll be at various friches all around town the next 3-4 days. Up to the main event on UFC Fight Night. Third-ranked light heavyweight Glover Teixeira takes on Ryan Bader, then the season premiere of The Ultimate Fighter, featuring rival coaches Ronda Rousey and Miesha Tate. UFC Wednesday begins at 4 p.m. Eastern with the UFC Fight Night pre-fight show, and that's this week on Fox Sports 1. Adam Wainwright climbs the hill to face the Reds here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Cincinnati with a 6-2 lead. They've scored in each of the first 4 innings of this game, and the day is over for Yadier Molina. With the Cardinals trailing on this warm Monday afternoon, they're going to get Molina out of the game, and Rob Johnson replaces him.
Well, if you go back to the last start that we saw Adam Wainwright in St. Louis, it was Rob Johnson behind the plate. They were giving Yadier Molina the day off. He's been dealing with a knee issue. Molina has really all year long, and they get him ready just to play just enough. They try to get him some time off when they can, and evidently it's barking so much they had to take him out of the ball game. And that last start for Johnson and Wainwright was the first time Johnson had ever caught Adam Wainwright.
Mesoraco fly ball to left field for the first out here in the bottom of the 5th. Reds have scored in each of the first 4 innings, and look at these numbers for the Reds. Both batting average, ERA against Adam Wainwright, undisputably the Cardinal ace. And then what the Reds have done against the other starters. And of course, tomorrow night, the Cardinals are going to inject Michael Wacha back into their starting rotation. We saw him turn in a dominant performance out of the Cardinal bullpen in relief of Wainwright last week. He was in the Cardinal starting rotation very early in the year. See hard-throwing right-hander Shelby Miller on Wednesday night, and then right-hander Lance Lynn here on Thursday. Tapper left side, glove by Freeze, 2 out. I'd like to send out a big 96th happy birthday today to Dorothy Westfall, watching up in Dayton, Ohio today. So Dorothy Westfall, happy number 96. We hope and pray for many, many more. Hope you're having a great day today. We're being told that Yadier Molina left today's game with soreness in his left wrist. One to Zach Kozar. Zach an RBI single, scored in the second inning, and bounced out to the second baseman in the third. Pirates and Milwaukee underway. Scoreless game at the end of one at Miller Park. We mentioned those Pirates will turn right back around, and they begin that road trip obviously in Milwaukee today. And from there they'll travel south to St. Louis next weekend. Ball four to Cozart. He's a two-out base runner. Reds have had a base runner and have scored a run in every inning today. Now Latos. Freeman, left-hander, getting loose in the Cardinal bullpen. Of course, the Cardinals made an acquisition since the last time we saw them. Over the weekend, they acquired the former Milwaukee Brewer closer, John Axford.
I thought that was a pretty good move from a baseball standpoint. Axford is not injured. His fastball is still in the mid to high 90s. He was a guy that has closed a lot of games. In fact, he's closed 44, saved 44 one year. So he comes from a ballpark in Milwaukee that is a hitter's paradise into a much more of a pitcher's ballpark. And you're playing for a team that is winning as opposed to a team that's out of it. I think it was just a plus-plus move for the Cardinals. Although he will, I understand, be a free agent after this year.
Descalso will play the first, and the first time, but Wainwright walks off the mound without giving up a run in an inning today. Northern Kentucky Honda dealers. Here's your Honda game summary. Reds wasting no time in the first inning again against Adam Wainwright today. Chu led off with a single. With 2 outs, he would score on a base hit by Ryan Ludwig. They got 3 in the second inning. A double by Frazier, RBI single by Cozart. 2 batters later, 2-run home run to the first row in right center field off the bat of Shin-Soo Choo, his 19th. 3 hits in the third, including a run-scoring single by Frazier. And then Joey Votto with 2 outs in an 0-2 hole banged one to the seats in left center. For Votto, home run number 21. And the Reds with a 6-2 lead, and that's where we stand at the end of 5.
Now, Adam Wainwright would like to figure this particular amazing statistic out. Against the Reds, his earned run average this year is 8.14. Against the rest of all Major League Baseball, including, of course, the interleague play, 2.5. So around everywhere else, he's a Cy Young Award candidate. Against the Reds, he's a mop-up guy. At least through the first few times he's faced them this year. That's got to be getting into his head, and it has to give Mike Matheny and the rest of the Cardinals decision makers something to think about. No matter who plays who at the very end of the year, if these two teams match up, whether it's in a one-game wild card play-in or whether it's in the playoffs somewhere down the line, it would be interesting where they put Wainwright on the mound.
Matt Holliday down a strike. He knocked in one of the 2 Cardinal runs in this game. A sac fly to left field back in the 3rd inning. He singled into center field in the 1st. Of course, that's a topic that is very interesting when you talk about both of these teams. You know, you look at how they have fared against the other 2 teams that would, you know, logically be in a 1-game playoff if it came to that. Reds v. Cardinals, Cardinals v. Pirates, Reds v. Pirates. You know, Dusty Baker obviously would have to make a decision. Clearly his best starter this entire year has been Matt Latos, as again Holliday takes that pitch down and away from him and just drives it into center field for a base hit.
Interesting at bat right here with Matt Holliday up there. First couple of pitches fastballs, and Latos essentially throws 2 of them right by him. One fouled off, then he goes with the slider, and that's the one that Holliday's able to negotiate up the middle for a base hit, or miles to pitch by pitch.
So Alan Craig, the batter, now with a runner at first base and 1 out. Craig has bounced out to the shortstop Cozart, and the last time he nearly knocked a cover off the ball on a line drive right at Chu in center field. Under the glove of Frazier, and out is a call at second base. Contact made out there. Phillips stretching out to keep his foot on the bag, and Holliday sliding in, and it's Holliday who's slow to get up.
Man, that is a dandy defensive play by Zach Cozart. Ball right in the 5.5 hole, comes off the glove of Frazier diving, and there is Cozart ready to field it and fire it immediately. Brandon Phillips playing the other end of it like a first baseman. That's a big play right there.
Well, we have seen Kozar throughout this entire year, whether he's hitting very well like he is right now for nearly a month, or whether he was having a hard time finding base hits. Doesn't seem to carry his plight as a batter into the field with that glove. He's had a very good year at shortstop. This one will back up Votto, and the inning is over. A hit, a man left. Middle of the sixth. Latos turning in a dandy so far with a 6-2 lead. Year we called the Kroger meal deal. I mean, you can't beat it. You get a hot dog, a 16-ounce Coke, chips, and during this homestand, Ocean Spray Craisins. Make sure to get your Kroger meal deal your next visit to Great American Ballpark. You get all that for $9. Of course, before every game, 30 minutes, we get you ready for Reds action right here on Fox Sports Ohio, and it's presented by Ray St. Clair Roofing. Jim Day, Jeff Pecoro will be coming your way again tomorrow night. Game 2 of this series with the Reds alive beginning at 6:30. Adam Wainwright still out there on the mound. And he is going through this batting order now for the 4th time. Chu, Phillips, and Votto. Chu today is singled, scored, hit a 2-run home run, and bounced out to Brandon Phillips. His last time up. Swung on and fouled out of play. Of course, this will be the final time this regular season that Wainwright will face the Reds. These are the final 4 games between these two teams this year. The question will be, do they see each other when we turn to the next month of this calendar year? Hard hit ball, but they had it positioned perfectly. Descalzo next to the bag, 1 out. Will it be in a 1-game playoff? Will it be in the opening round of the playoffs in a best of 5, or will it be in a best of 7 in a league championship series?
Well, if you just take the last few games that these two teams have played, the swing has been monumental. So neither of these managers or owners or general managers or even players want anything to do with a 1 game, because it's almost like a coin flip based on what pitches happen to be breaking that day, what balls fall in. A ball goes off the edge of a fielder's glove, makes a difference in a ball game and your entire postseason. That's why the race for that division title is so important.
where, by the way, the Milwaukee Brewers have come up with a run and taken a 1-0 lead there in the third inning, taking on the Pirates today. Cardinals and the Bucks are tied atop the National League Central. Pirates are 2 wins away from guaranteeing at least a .500 season for the first time since 1992. Bouncer, and Wainwright will gather. Throws out Phillips. 2 out. Not much is made of the schedule, and Lord knows we've documented example after example where the old adage, don't count your chickens, certainly applies. Talked about the Cardinals, 3 more here and then 3 over the Pirates. Their final 19 will be against teams under .500, except for the Nationals, who have just gone over the .500 mark. Milo lifts a fly ball to left field, and Holliday's got it 2 in the inning. That figures to be the final inning of work for Wainwright. End of 6. Reds with a 6-2 lead. A week from today, Monday, September the 9th, presented by Mike and Ike. And you can take advantage of the last Reds 4 for 48 ticket offer of the year. Call 513-381-REDS for tickets. You can visit select Kroger locations in and around Reds country or log on to reds.com/tickets. To answer our AT&T trivia question today, the last Red to win a National League Player of the Month in the month of September. How about the finish Greg Vaughn, the year Greg Vaughn had for the Reds in '99? Boy, that guy, a leader.
And not only did he lead, he also single-handedly changed the Reds' facial hair policy. Talk about getting it done. He was the guy, the first one to step up and say, you know, I'm not wearing my socks low, and I'm not shaving my beard. He had a nice looking goatee, as I remember.
He had 16 home runs in September of 1999 when the Reds were trying to get into the playoffs. They had that lost weekend, you may remember, in Milwaukee.
Rainy, cold.
Yep, ball off the end of the bat by Adams.
Dismal and miserable.
They had to win that last game of the year after waiting around in that rain delay just to force the one-game playoff against the Mets, where, of course, they were shut out before a sellout crowd at Old Riverfront Stadium by Al Leiter.
Edgardo Alfonso hit a 3-run home run in the first inning off of Steve Paris. You talk about taking the energy out of that crowd. That was a game that sold out in like an hour and a half, didn't it?
I don't even know if it was that long. I thought it was more like 30 minutes.
Could be.
And that was a crowd. I've talked about it before, that the next day after the Mets won that one-game playoff, they came to Arizona as there's a jam shot pop up to the shortstop Cozart for the second out of the inning. And Bobby Valentine, and the manager of the New York Mets, told me that following day before game 1 of a National League Division Series that it was by far the loudest crowd he had ever heard at any venue in his life.
The loudest I'd ever heard in Cincinnati. Even going back to the days of the Big Red Machine and the World Series that were played there, that was an electric crowd that day.
Apparently Latos getting something into his eye. And you know, that weekend brings to mind, Chris, that lost weekend I referred to it in Milwaukee, where had the Reds just won one more game in that series, they would not have had to play the one-game playoff against the New York Mets. They would have been guaranteed a spot in the National League playoffs that year.
Well, that's why you really don't, at the end of the year, want to play a team that has nothing to lose and really, other than grudge points, nothing to play for. And the Reds have the Mets on the schedule between those two series with the Pittsburgh Pirates. They'll be on the road to play the Pirates 3 games. And they come home and they play the Mets for 3.
Yep.
Then they have an off day and they finish the season Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the very end of September, at home against the Pirates.
Tell you what, Latos has once again stepped up and delivered the goods here today. Couple of changes to tell you about for the Cardinals as they take the field defensively here in the bottom of the 7th inning, down 6-2. Colton Wong takes over at second for Matt Carpenter. Carpenter moves over to third, replacing David Freese. And a new pitcher is on the mound, replacing Adam Wainwright, left-hander Sam Freeman.
Young man just called up not too long ago.
Foul tipped by Jay Bruce. Been a good day for Bruce once again. He had a 4-pitch walk when they clearly wanted nothing to do with Bruce in the first inning with a runner at third and 2 men out. They did pitch to him in the third. He doubled to left center field and scored. They pitched to him in the fourth. He doubled down the right field line. Freeman up to get it. 1 out. Well, we invite you to come on down to Great American Ballpark this Sunday. And again, a reminder, that is a night game now. Sunday night baseball. The Reds take on the Dodgers. On your schedule, that says a 1:10 start. And again, to repeat, that has been moved back to an 8:05 start. 513-381 Reds, or log on to Reds.com/tickets. In fact, tickets are available for every game remaining on this homestand. Plenty of seats left for the next 3 nights against these Cardinals. Friday night, Saturday afternoon, Sunday night against LA. And then next Monday, Tuesday nights against the Cubbies, with a Wednesday game to wrap up the 10-game homestand. You know, getting back to talking about that series the Reds played in '99 and how all of the best laid plans can be just completely shredded. Whether you're playing a team that's out of it or you're playing a team that, you know, is in it. Had the Reds won either one of the first 2 games of that series, which would have clinched a playoff spot, they had their #1 starter from that year, Pete Harnisch, ready to pitch the first game of the playoffs. But because they had to pitch him in that game on Sunday just to force a 1-game playoff, that is why Steve Paris wound up pitching the 1-game playoff against the New York Mets on that Monday afternoon. And obviously, you know, we were sitting here talking earlier. Ludwig shoots one into right center field that'll go to the wall. And we started the conversation about, you know, will the Cardinals start Adam Wainwright against the Reds based on these last couple of games of this year's starts against them? You know, would the Reds love to have Homer Bailey or Matt Latos lined up against the Pirates, the way they pitched against those guys? And then, of course, something happens where you're starting somebody that you had no intention of starting the biggest game of the year. So the Reds have something to say about their fortunes this year in this 4-game series, and they have come out and looked very good here today, starting with their man on the mound, Matt Latos.
And you really wonder now, if you take that a step forward and you don't worry about the 1-game play-in, you just talk about the playoffs. Remember back in a few years ago when they wanted and played the Philadelphia Phillies, they went with hard stuff the first couple of games. And really the best game that was pitched was the one by Bronson Arroyo. And you wonder how they'll set up their pitching for the playoffs this year. Will they go with stuff, you know, Latos and Bailey, or would they go, you know, with Arroyo at the top? You know, because on this pitching staff, you have 2 different completely styles of pitchers. However you want to call it, top of the staff or bottom of the staff, doesn't matter.
That one line into center field will be caught by Jay. 2 outs in the inning. I got to tell you, Chris, and I know you'll agree with me on this statement. The one guy I know the Reds are not going to have too far off in their plans, however they put together any sort of postseason, if they're lucky enough to get their rotation. Tony Cingrani has earned the right to be right there in the mix with anybody they have on this staff.
Well, let's hope that Cingrani is able to answer the call for his next start.
Yes.
That would be Thursday, I believe. He's not officially named as a starter yet. He tells me every time I see him on the road, did not talk to him today, but saw him several times in Colorado. He says, I'm fine. I feel good. But you hope that he's able to come back and throw the ball the way he had earlier in the year, because he's lights out when he does that.
Now you look at what Jose Fernandez has done, the sensational rookie starter, and there's no debate about that, what he has done with the Miami Marlins. But, you know, it makes you wonder, what would Tony Cingrani's numbers look like compared to Jose Fernandez had he been in the starting rotation very early in the year and not taken out of it? Short time in the bullpen, taken out of it, short time back in the minor leagues, back into it when Cueto was going on the DL, back off, back on. Because Tony Cingrani, his numbers have been spectacular this year. 1-1 on Frazier, runner at second base, Ludwig. Sam Freeman has not been scored upon to begin his major league career. First 5 major league outings.
When Sam Freeman went to junior college, and he went to Central Texas Community College, he was known as a fleet-footed outfielder. They took a look at his arm and said, you know, we want to put you on the mound. He was drafted by the Cardinals, did not sign in 2007. They drafted him again in 2008, actually a few rounds lower. And they put him on the mound as a professional, and that's where he has been ever since. Not a big guy. They have him listed at 5'11", 170. So that last pitch measured at 96. You wonder where he gets it.
Descalso throws out Frazier, and that's all for the Reds in the 7th, leading 6-2. Children's Hospital is a three-peat. Cincinnati Children's ranking 3rd in the nation in the 2013 Best Children's Hospitals in America 3 years in a row. And by Chevy. Stop by your Tri-State Chevy dealer. Check out their fuel line of fuel-efficient vehicles. Reds in front 6-2. Cardinals come to bat here in the top half of the 8th inning. While we have a moment, Tim Timmons is a second base umpire today, and his mother has been in the health center up in Columbus, Ohio for better than a month now. And we'd love to wish her a speedy recovery, a lifetime Reds fan. So Tim, our thoughts and prayers to you, and of course with your mom Anita, who's watching Reds baseball here today. Anita, get well. Matt Latos has thrown just 82 pitches in his 7 innings today. Struck out 2, walked 1, allowed 2 runs, 4 hits. Both runs and half the hits came in the Cardinal 3rd inning. Colton Wong bats for the first time. Former #1 pick of the Cardinals, grew up in Honolulu or in Hawaii, and he bats for the first time today. Barehanded by Phillips. 1 out. Well, it's a game break time, and let's check in back in Los Angeles with Fox Sports 1. All right, Ryan, thank you very much. Here at 6-2 Reds. Just a sensational effort turned in today by Latos.
Well, an ultra efficient effort as well. Matt Latos, one thing he has done since coming over here and become a Red, he's thrown fewer pitches per inning. Now, we could show you the stats, but when you look at it as pitches per inning, and it's 1 pitch per inning, you say, well, big deal. I mean, when he came over from San Diego his last year there, he averaged about 16.2 pitches. Now this year he's averaging 15.5. So it's less than 1 overall. But today he's really every efficient because he's not getting behind in the count. He's throwing strikes. And I think that this Cardinal ball club is well aware of that little slider that he throws down and in, and to left-handers, down and away to right-handers. They want to stay away from having to hit that pitch.
A weak pop up by Carpenter into left field, and this will be out number 2. You know, Dusty Baker rarely challenges his players publicly. Now, privately, there may be some of that going on that we're not privy to, but, you know, really early in this year, he really challenged Latos publicly through the press, and I'm sure face-to-face, to saying, hey, look, this guy's got all the stuff in the world, but he's become a 6-inning pitcher. And that's what he was the very early part of this year. He'd run into problems in the 7th. We were seemingly talking about a guy who, you know, you got beyond the 6th inning, and then all these numbers would start blowing up, and you had to get him out of there. And Baker kept saying, it's time now to become that next level of pitcher. And certainly Latos has done that. In the absence of Cueto, he is the undisputed #1 starter on this Reds team, and has pitched like it the entire year.
Well, you know, you have to recognize that it is harder and harder nowadays to pitch into the 7th inning, because with all the emphasis on pitch counts, once you get up around 105 pitches, managers are accustomed to start looking at the bullpen, whether you've lost your stuff or not. And you can't tell me that, you know, Matt Latos loses a lot. You know, now the stats will show you that the batting average goes up off of Latos when he gets to 100 pitches. But you've got to be very efficient nowadays to get into the 8th or 9th inning. No more can you throw 120, 130 pitches. Managers just don't let you to do that anymore.
And to hold it short, Cozart cuts it loose. Latos, if indeed that's his final inning, retires 18 of the last 19 Cardinals he faces in the game. Shin-Soo Choo provides our Nissan drive of the game. To the seats in right center field, home run number 19 for Shin-Soo. And he'll get one more plate appearance in this one today. Reds batting for what they hope will be the final time, leading 6-2. And we mentioned the name earlier, coming over just this weekend from Milwaukee to the Cardinals. Their former closer with the Brewers, who lost his job again at the beginning of the year for the second straight season, John Axford.
Well, only the second time he's been in a ball game now for the Cardinals. He pitched 1 inning and retired the side on 8 pitches his last time out. He's never really pitched all that well against the Reds, especially in this ball game or in this ballpark. 12 games, earned run average over 9. Of course, a short reliever can have a big number in a hurry by just giving up a few runs over a short period of time. But he's given up 5 home runs here in 12 games.
The Reds as a team in this ballpark have hit almost 400 against Axford. 3-0 to Cozart, and there's a strike.
I still think it's a pretty good deal and really a no-risk deal for the Cardinals. You bring another veteran late inning guy there. Edward Mujica, their closer, has had some problems, some fatigue issues. And Axford's had some problems in this ballpark, and it's amazing how things continue along the same lines.
Well, here comes Latos. I would expect a nice round of applause for his effort so far here today. He'll bat in the 8th. Get a chance, it appears, to finish what he began today. Very low pitch count, still in the low 90s through 8 innings. And that's the second time he has put down a perfect bunt in the game. Well, we invite you to come down to the Holy Grail of the Banks this Friday. That'll kick off Joe Morgan weekend. If you're there at 6, you can test your Reds knowledge, win some great prizes. You may end up on Reds Live after a game on Fox Sports Ohio. Just be part of the fun Friday at 6 at the Holy Grail on the Banks, right across Joe Nuxall Way from Great American Ballpark. Well, Latos has done it all today, and now he'll get a chance to get the final 3 outs. As Choo steps up there for the 5th time today. Set the tone with a great at bat to start the game. Running a full count up against Adam Wainwright. Single to the left, wound up scoring a run, then capped off the 3-run second with a 2-run home run to right center. 2 out of 4 in the game. In the air, left center field. Sliding catch by Holiday. The more you watch that Holiday, man, that guy's a ball player. You know what I mean? No matter what the score is, he rarely ever comes out of games. We saw him foul the ball off his foot a couple of times. I mean, his offensive numbers speak for themselves.
Well, you know, early in his career, people thought a lot of those offensive numbers were padded by Coors Field. Then he went to Oakland. But he's a winning type of player. There's no doubt.
Fastball high and tight to Brandon Phillips. Of course, Holiday, one of those guys, is son of a baseball coach.
Yep.
Collegiately at Oklahoma State, played for his father there, and more recently at North Carolina State. He's been a good player, really good player for a long time. Now the Reds have Aroldis Chapman up and throwing on in their bullpen. After we just saw Matt Latos back, of course, you didn't even know Chapman was on the team that just completed road trip. He did not appear in a single game on the 6-game road trip through St. Louis and Denver. The Reds have played almost 1,250 innings this season. And Aroldis Chapman has pitched in slightly better than 50 of those innings. He has not pitched in a game since August the 24th. There's ball 4 down low to Brandon. So Joey Votto will come to the plate with 2 on and 2 out. Well, coming up after this game and after every game on Fox Sports Ohio, we'll try and break it all down. We'll hear from Dusty, players in the clubhouse with Reds Alive, brought to you by Kings Honda and the Kings Auto Mall. Visit KingsHondaUSA.com. Joey Votto 1 of 4 today in a solo home run of the opposite field against Wainwright in the 4th inning. This will be a Skyline Chili call to the bullpen. They'll bring in a left-hander to face Votto. We're back in a moment. Our Miller Time moment presented to you by Miller Lite. Votto a home run the other way on a 2-strike pitch off Wainwright in the 4th inning. Home run number 21 for Joey Votto. He'll bat with 2 on and 2 out against a new Cardinal pitcher, left-handed veteran Randy Choate. Choate's been around a long time.
Yeah, he has. He's born in San Antonio. He went to Florida State on his way to a major league career that started with the Yankees. And now 5 teams later finds him in St. Louis. This is his 14th major league or part thereof. And he's a typical loogie. You know, the left-handed only one guy comes in. He's got a lot of slop, drops his arm. I mean, it's the kind of guy you could see on a Sunday afternoon beer league the same way you could see right here in the big leagues, coming in to get those lefties out.
He's fallen behind 3-0. He's got the left-handed batting Votto, left-handed batting Bruce on deck. Reds leading 6-2.
You green lighting them right here?
Sure. Now we're nowhere near the strike zone to load them up. So here comes Jay Bruce.
Now you're trying to pitch him outside until the very last pitch. He's just trying to throw a strike right there, sidearm. And one place he stayed away from was the middle of the plate. But he's got to throw strikes here to Jay Bruce with the bases loaded.
This will be the final batter Choate will face either way. They have a right-hander down in the bullpen. Bases loaded, 2 out. Borderline strike there to Bruce. One pitch. Chased a pitch out of the strike zone. Choate throwing a rare fastball there on a 1-1 count. Cozart, Phillips, Votto aboard. 2 away in the inning. Reds batting in the last of the 8th with a 4-run lead. Breaking ball. Darts away from Bruce to even the count. Nowhere to put him with the bases loaded, 2 outs, 3 balls, 2 strikes, a count to Jay Bruce. Choate has walked in a run to make it 7-2 Reds. And Mike Matheny will walk to the mound. Choate faces 2 batters. He walks them both. And he will go to his bullpen and bring in the right-hander Fernando Salas. Reds with a 5-run lead in the 8th. We're back in a moment.
Hot dog play of the game. Ryan Ludwig, Daniel Descalzo liner, and a great diving catch by the Reds left fielder as he comes in to record the third out of the inning, and just like that, the Reds are off the field. Our John Morrell hot dog play of the game.
Well, the Reds have scored in the inning on a single and 3 walks. And now Fernando Salas, their closer. This time, roughly a year ago. 2 years ago, I beg your pardon. That was the year they won the World Series, and they had, what, 8 different pitchers close games for that year? Salas actually led them in saves that year with 18.
And that was the first year, and that was, you were talking about 2011, the first year he ever had a save in a major league game.
By the end of the year was Jason Mott, who had taken over as a closer. He was a guy that was closing it out during their improbable run to get into the playoffs and then eventually winning the World Series. Ludwig apparently thought that fastball was high. Turns around to say something to Mark Wegner. Oh, and 2 the count on Ludwig, but the bases loaded and 2 out. Reds in front by 5 here in the last of the 8th. In the air right field. That will back up Craig, who has to leap into the air to make the catch. That ball may have fooled Craig. Reds get a run. Here we go to the 9th. Leading by 5.
Whip of the game brought to you by Head & Shoulders, now with a hint of Old Spice. Matt Latos only a couple of strikeouts on this very efficient ball game, but he gets one right there of John Jay on a slider. Goes to the curveball to get Matt Adams. And Matt Latos now getting ready to deal here in the 9th inning with just a couple of strikeouts. A lot of zeros on the board. The only inning in which the Cardinals scored a run was back in the 2nd.
Producer of our game today, Brian Hunterman. Our director, Mr. Roy Alfers. Our associate producers, Matt Sigafuz and Lauren White. Reds live producer, Kent Weaver. Coordinating producer, Bob Pendle. Our executive producer is Tom Farmer. And we thank our entire Fox Sports Ohio crew. Statistician Joe Luckup and company. Holiday leads off the inning. Fly ball left. And look who's out there in left field to run it down. Just called back up from the minor leagues, Derek Robinson. They gave the Reds some good playing time during the course of this year with Ludwig out.
Well, he gives them a little bit of athleticism that you don't have without him on the roster. Of course, now you have also Billy Hamilton. So Derek Robinson got a good jump on that ball, ran that ball down from up here, Tom. I didn't think he had a chance to get to it. But he made it look kind of easy at the very end. Gained on the baseball.
So Latos gunning for his first complete game of this season. And he's 2 outs away from getting it. In there, a strike. Trying to get chasing that pitch, Craig, which he does not do. Craig is grounded to short, line to center, and hit a ground ball to the left side that turned into an out at second base. Latos had 2 complete games last year. They came within 5 days of one another in back-to-back starts. And just missed. Complete game win over Milwaukee June the 25th. Complete game win against the Giants June the 30th. And now the 2-2 on Alan Craig. Cozart. Perfect throw to Votto. The one guy the Reds have been able to count on when they have taken on their division rival St. Louis Cardinals this year, in a year where they've only won 5 of the prior 15 games, has been Matt Latos. He is an out away from getting his 3rd win against his Cardinal team this season. Strike 1 to Rob Johnson. This ought to do it. Frazier over to first and picked out of the dirt by Votto, and Matt Latos, a complete game 4 hitter. He allows 1 hit from the 4th inning through the end of the game, retiring 21 of the final 22 batters that he faces. What a sensational effort today from right-hander Matt Latos as the Reds win 6-2, our final score. We'll be back with more from Great American Ballpark as they celebrate a win over the Cardinals in the opener of this 4-game set.